What is going on with y'all, man? It's Black Balloon, and we are coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. We're here to do the video about Katt Williams when he was on Joe Rogan, and they were talking about transgenders and the Baphomet rituals. So I thought it would be cool for us to react to that video, and since it goes right in line with what we've talked about a lot on this channel, we've done multiple videos with rappers, actors worshiping the Baphomet, also worshiping the religion of Thelema and Aleister Crowley. I think it all ties in together, and the clip with him and Joe Rogan, it was pretty interesting. So I thought it would be worth for us to go ahead and react to that video. They also had a clip maybe we could talk about where they were talking about a little bit of Sodom and Gomorrah. They didn't say much. Kind of felt like they were definitely choosing what they really wanted to say. Not really so much Katt Williams, but Joe Rogan for sure. It's like when Katt Williams spoke on Sodom and Gomorrah, and I can show y'all the clip if you haven't watched it. I guess we understand it. He wants to keep his platform and, not actually say too much and more play dumb, because I think he does a really good job at acting like he doesn't know what's going on, and he plays dumb a lot. So with that being said, look, we'll go ahead and jump into the first clip with Katt Williams and Joe Rogan. So check this out.
Seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things will become popular in the future, and that somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
God damn, we got some good weed, Katt. Jesus Christ.
This must be the weed talk.
Trying to figure out how to jump in on that.
Right. Which is my only goal.
I always wonder whether or not all the stories in the Bible, it's just where we are experiencing it. Like the mark of the beast thing that we were talking about earlier. If that is not, I think if you had to tell a story for so many years,
yeah,
before anybody ever even figured out how to write it down, and you're telling a story about a civilization that allowed people to put brain implants in them, and then all of a sudden the brain implants were hijacked by machines, and people became just meat zombies, controlled by corporations. That would be the mark of the beast. That would be a demonic thing. If a demon tricked human beings into wearing a hat that turned you into a zombie, that demon would be like a famous character in books and folklore. But that demon exists, and it's just technology. It just shows itself through this desire for the newest, latest innovations that are going to constantly fuel it becoming more and more powerful.
Now, that was actually crazy because Joe Rogan really, he really showed us he was not trying to participate in what Katt Williams was talking about. You could kind of see the body language of Katt Williams after he spoke about the Baphomet transgender ritual. Basically, Joe Rogan paused and said, "Man, that's some good weed we smoking, Katt. I'm trying to figure out a way to, say something with that or agree with you." He changed the subject. He started talking about stories in the Bible and the mark of the beast. He had nothing to say about it. I thought that was almost like more telling than Katt Williams speaking about the Baphomet and people showing their allegiance to the Baphomet, and also how people love to call other people or their idols in sports, entertainment, music, whatever, how they like to call them, the GOAT. And something that could be so simple, because like he said, the sheep were, that was like what was replaced with people calling other people the goat. And he's telling you that this is coming from the Baphomet, it's coming from the ritual. This is what ignites the Baphomet. This is what, pushes that energy, so to speak, is you just doing something as simple as calling someone the goat. It's taken the place of how we used to call people sheep, because they follow every single thing without even really knowing. And it's almost basically the same thing as calling people the goat. It's the same thing. You're following a trend without even really knowing who you're basically showing allegiance to, which is the Baphomet. That's why I said we've talked plenty times about it, as far as rappers. I remember that video we did with XXX and his old manager Bruno, that they worshiped the Baphomet. They had pictures of the Baphomet on their walls. They worshipped and practiced the religion of Thelema with Aleister Crowley. It's up very, very often in the music industry, in the entertainment world, in rituals, so on and so on. And, I just found it really funny. Joe Rogan had nothing to say, I guess he's really trying to keep his platform. He changed the entire subject, went on to talk about the mark of the beast. To me, it's just like, why would you want to have Katt Williams on your platform if you're not going to be willing to like piggyback off of what he's saying? It's like, what he's about to bring. Even though Katt was a little bit more, he was a little more laid back in this one, I'm assuming, because they was smoking and stuff, because right before that, he told Joe Rogan, you can better understand what a ritual is when you pay attention to, like, how when someone wore a dress in the industry, it was never unsuccessful when they wore a dress. And they both bust out laughing, because basically what he was saying was, anytime these actors, these grown men or black men put on a dress, they always become successful. It's never unsuccessful. So when you look at it that way, it shows you what exactly a ritual is.
All right, now, so I want to talk a little bit today. I'm going to call this Baphomet, the God of transformation. Now, this is what the some of you all who may study a little bit, this is what the music industry and Hollywood industry is all dominated by. People are confused about it. You got so many truth seekers and people who don't really know, and just everybody's the Illuminati, and they just look for symbols everywhere, and but the real point of Baphomet, I'm gonna show you the symbol, and then I want you to understand that this is the symbol that every artist and every Hollywood actor and everybody has to agree with in order to be famous. You have to bow to this beast in order to be famous. Fame is not based on talent. It's based on your ability to be used by demons. It's based on your ability to open up. I was showing my wife, you can write this down. It's called Hollywood Unmasked, Part 1 and 2. Part 2 is real good, but it's on YouTube. You can go find it. And it shows you the actors and the actresses saying themselves that they opened themselves up. The greatest actresses, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Denzel Washington, Oprah Winfrey, all of them are saying, when we really act in these scenes, we open ourselves up as a muse and allow the spirits to enter us and act through us. They say in Hollywood, the best actor is not the one that's acting. It's not the one that's pretending. It's the one that has a spirit that they've conjured up to act through them. It's how well can you yield to a spirit. And they all know it, and that's the reason why they're so tormented. Yet, because of pride and fame, they continue to do it, even though it means certain destruction. There's a covenant that they must make with Baphomet, the goat god, the god of lust. Are y'all there? And so this is the reason why, how in the world is our Christian teachers and preachers talking about we're going to Hollywood and we're going to take over Hollywood, when to get in the industry, you got to make covenants with these. You got to get into agreement with this. That's the reason why they can't make anything good, with good nature, with real Christian overtones. Anything that's Christian is mocked and it's almost made to look hillbillyish and crazy, like we have lost our mind, like we're weak people hiding in a church that can't deal with the reality and the world. And in reality, the real reality is that they understand there is a real God, and the God that we serve is against their God, and their God is Baphomet, which is just a symbol for Lucifer. It's the same symbol for that all the other pagans worshipped and all the other pagan religions. You can go all the way back to Egypt and Babylon, same demons we're talking about. This Baphomet symbol was drawn by a man that incorporated the majority of the pagan religions and put it into one symbol. It's very deep. It deals with the Jewish Kabbalah, and I really need to talk to y'all about that anyway, but it deals with all of these different religions, and it's the symbol now of Satanism. If you heard about the symbol, the satanic statue they put in Oklahoma City, the satanic statue, it was an image of Baphomet, the goat god. So Satan is no longer in the closet. He's coming out and wanting to be acknowledged. And because of this great paradigm shift, what is he doing? He's shifting. There's a shift coming that's going to shift the consciousness of men. And the scripture here is when the Bible says in the last days, they're going to call wrong right and right wrong. This Gnostic style of gospel, this Gnostic teaching that Lucifer is God. And that's what the Gnosticism of everything you're seeing in media, movies, and Hollywood is teaching you, that evil is really good and good is really evil. That is part of the Jewish Kabbalah that teaches dualism, that in order to be righteous, you must become so filthy with sin that when you go all the way down into sin, you get down to the base form, and then you get the light. This knowledge comes to you, and you become righteous. This is the reason why Jesus said that if the light in you be darkness, how great the light. That's the light they have, not the all true light of God, not the light of Jesus Christ, but the light of Lucifer.
Now we're gonna go ahead and jump into this article real quick and get a little bit of history about the Baphomet. I believe this is one of the statues he was talking about in the clip that was it was unveiled in Detroit. And this one is a winged hermaphrodite known as the Baphomet with two smiling children at his side. Now it says the name dates back to the Inquisition and torture of the Knights Templar, who according to French chroniclers of the Crusades confessed to worshiping a heathen idol called Baphomet. So this has been going on for a very, very long time. That's why he said these are the same demons. Some scholars believe Baphomet was simply a corruption of Mahomet, the prophet Muhammad, if I'm saying that correct. But over the years, as the mystery and speculation around the Templars has grown, so too have the interpretations of the word and its meaning. One elaborate interpretation even drove the plot in Dan Brown's historical thriller, Da Vinci Code, where the word Baphomet is decoded and translated to mean Sophia or wisdom. Wow, it's crazy. I never actually heard that the Baphomet was basically translated to Sophia or wisdom. Now, I don't know if they're just saying that it was translated that way in the movie or that is what it translates to in general. Because if y'all remember, we talked about the deity Sophia long ago. I don't know what video that was, but we had a clip and we went into Gnosticism a little bit. You know, this is just to add context to the video, because Sophia was basically, you know, as they put it in Gnosticism, she was basically like a divine being that wanted to have a child on her own. She didn't do it through God or a divine partner. She had it and produced it on her own somehow. That child ended up becoming the demiurge, aka Yaldabaoth, which some of you might have heard that name before. It was basically like a snake and a lion head, which like in a sense represented that it couldn't control its urges. That's why it was the demiurge. And it was just a weird, interesting story just to read. You know, it's you just take it with a grain of salt. It's not nothing I'm trying to put on y'all to go and study and believe in, but it's crazy because I forgot why we talked about Sophia in the video that we did it on, but I specifically remember having a clip about Sophia, and I just found that to be interesting that it comes from the Baphomet, or is translated out of the word Baphomet. So that's kind of a head scratcher. So Levi's Baphomet, which we all know is the French occultist who drew the first picture of the Baphomet. It says he is best known for the image of the Baphomet, and it was drawn in 1856. He drew a winged hermaphrodite with a torch between his horns and a pentagram on his forehead. Its arms bore the Latin words solve, separate, and coagula, joined together, the powers of binding and loosing, usurped from God. Levi's drawing was the inspiration for the Satanic Temple's new monument. It contains all these binary opposites, above and below, part animal, part human, male and female, so on and so on. It embodies opposites and celebrates contrast. You know, one of the most important things I thought he said in that clip was the fact that they don't promote anything with good nature. You know, it's hard to find those things. You know, it kind of goes back to like algorithms with Instagram and YouTube. You got to search for those things for the algorithm to push that kind of content to you. If you don't, you're mostly just left with what everybody else is watching and what is trending, because that's what is being pushed, especially with music. So the whole point of it is that people agree to push that kind of energy, you know, in order to bring that Antichrist energy onto the world. People agree to it. They're being used by demons. They're channeling spirits and they're agreeing to push that agenda. So it makes sense with the message being about the Baphomet and him being the god of transformation, as far as flipping everything upside down. There has to be something that people worship and agree to in order to bring that energy into our lives. Just like spirits and demons, we welcome them into our lives with our actions and decisions, even if we don't know what we are doing, even if we are naive to it. So it's the same thing in my eyes. And, you know, I just thought that clip was really, really interesting to listen to as far as this topic goes. You know, since we're getting into the Katt Williams and Joe Rogan interview. Now, I do got one more clip that I want to play just to kind of end this video on a more positive note. And it was the section, it's a really little short clip. It was a part where Katt Williams was talking about believing in God and how simple it really should be. So we'll go ahead and check that out and then wrap this video up.
The fact that there is a God is the biggest conversation worldwide, but the truth of the matter is there is more reason for you to believe there is a God than there is for you to not. Like the way that things interact, like if we're just talking about marijuana or alcohol or whatever that is, you have to understand that this thing serves no other purpose than to bring pleasure to this small group of beings.
Right.
And the fact that it already was set up to do that, the fact that it was already set up on this planet for there to be medicines for us to find and to utilize. And you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like, oh, yeah, so he made a cow. No, to make a cow, it means you had to also have made grass. And it means you would have had to have invented a whole new eating system for this animal, which was cud. And that means you would then have to have given him 3 stomachs to be able to, and you would have to have known that he was going to then emit a gas that was going to be necessary on the planet. Like, like none of these things,
fertilizer, all of it.
Right. The fact that
Seeds.
Everything goes together is how you know.
It's pretty wild.
Now, I completely agree. There is way, way more reasons to believe that there is a God than for people to not believe in God. Now, when I saw the comments under another page that posted it, I think it was WorldStar that posted that clip, the comments were out of this world. Some people you just cannot help, and I would not ask you to try to help them. They have to figure it out on their own, because we all have our personal reasons and experiences on why we believe in God. You know, some people can just walk outside, look at creation, go into nature, and that's enough to tell you that God is real right there. Some people have been in life or death situations and God tapped him on the shoulder and told him that's all right, it's going to be all right. That's enough for people to believe in God right there. Some people, just reading those comments, people were like, yo, science tells you everything. God is not real. Even science proves it. People were like, what Santa Claus is to little children, God is that to adults. Yo, man, it was crazy reading it. I had to stop reading the comments because I couldn't believe people would be so ignorant. People think everything just started from nothing. People believe that we just happen. We just gonna die. We gonna somehow end up in another human body and do it again. Honestly, it's quite sad, and I'm not gonna get on here and waste my breath and try to attack people and be mad, because I'm in a place in my heart and my soul, I don't have to do that. I know where I'm going. I know who I believe in. I know who has my back, who has been my father. Someone who was not raised by a father, like, in real life. Like, I've never known my dad. So I know who have been there for me in the times where, that father figure would have taught you things, or, put you in a place, or, helped you do this, do that, saved you from this. Mine was God. I know, where I'm going. I know who's been watching over me. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. So I would never, I wouldn't get on him and be like, oh, you're dumb, you're a fool, even though it says that, you're foolish to dismiss God and not believe in God in the Bible. It is foolish. It's very foolish, because, man, I can't even begin to scratch the surface of how many things in this world will let you know that God is real. The video would be hours long if we sat here and really, just came up with everything, to try and show people that God is real. But that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? I can sit here and, do my best with the people that I make connections to. To me, that's another form of godlyhood. Me sitting here and connecting to you spiritually. The fact that you are listening to me when the time is right. You're hearing my message. You're receiving my message. It feels good to you. If I've helped you along your journey, to me, that's more proof that God is real, because I can't do that on my own. I have to have some kind of, spirit of God in me. I have to have that spirit in me. We can't connect, when you don't know me personally, you've never seen me, we've never had a real conversation right next to each other, but we can connect through this phone. We can connect through this camera. To me, those are godly connections, There's a lot to, why you should believe in God, and you should get your life together, because at the end, we all got to answer to somebody. You ain't answering to yourself. You ain't answering to your mama. You ain't answering to your daddy. At the end, we all have someone to answer to. And that doesn't, it doesn't mean be scared. It's not me threatening your life that, oh, you're going to be punished one day, But you got a choice to make. We all got free will. We were all put here for a reason. We got to find that reason. We got to capitalize on it. And we got to become who we truly supposed to be. Chase who you are supposed to be in life, Make that come first. Put God first. And that'll be my message for this video, because I don't want to get it to a point where I'm like, like I said, it's not my job to convince you. You know what I'm saying? All I could do is do my part and continue to reach people the way that I have been, being who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I thought we would end this video on a positive message. Since we talk about all this other stuff so much, man. But yeah, man, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed that video. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. And with that being said, it's Black Balloon, and I'm going to see y'all soon.